Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Rocha, Kodash, Ma'amath. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. I also want to give double honors to my elder apostle, Yahawah by Yasharallah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab by Yasharallah, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharallah here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out a lesson, and the title of this lesson is The Weapon of the Lord Yahawah's Indignation. And this is inspired by camp yesterday. I had made a remark about nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. But you know, we were kind of moving, so you know, it would have been too much to go into because it got something to do with light and atoms and all that stuff. But this lesson here is, I'm gonna keep it stupidly simple. You know, so I'm just the difference between fission and fusion, and you know what I'm saying, then the difference between a fission nuclear explosion and a fusion nuclear explosion, you know, and keep it simple. And then afterwards I'll bring out some scriptures. But right now it says right here, I had typed this in, it says fission Salakia versus fusion. And it says here, it says nuclear fission is the splitting of a heavy atomic nucleus into smaller fragments, while nuclear fusion is the combining of two light atomic nuclei into a heavier one. It says both processes, Salakia, release monumental amounts of energy by converting a tiny fraction of mass into energy, but they differ significantly in their mechanics, efficiency, and real-world applications. It says here, it says fission, it says a heavy atom like uranium-235 is struck by a neutron, becomes unstable, and splits. This triggers a self-sustaining chain reaction as emitted neutrons hit other atoms. And this is the process. This was the mark that I brought up at camp, you know. But then my elder, he said something about fusion, and this is right here. It says two light atoms, typically hydrogen isotopes, deuterium and tritium, are forced together under extreme heat and pressure until they merge into a singular heavier nucleus like helium. And my elder, he had mentioned helium-3, you know, so that's a whole nother I'm gonna say element, you know, that is part of the process of the Lord's weapons of his indignation, and I would say their yield, their power, their destructive power. Continuing, it says fusion releases 3 to 5 times more energy than fission per gram of fuel, while fission releases more energy per individual atom. Fusion fuels are significantly lighter, meaning a gram of fusion fuel contains far more atoms than a gram of fission fuel. Here we go. Let me see. I'm going to say that's safety and control. I just read all of it. It says fission. It says because it relies on a chain reaction, the reaction must be carefully regulated via control rods. And this is talking about to keep a reactor from melting down, you know. But it says here, if left uncontrolled, it can result in the reactor melting down and cause an atomic explosion. An atomic explosion. And with fission, there is radioactive fallout. After nuclear fission, or like a nuclear fission bomb goes off, there's radioactive fallout, you know, after the initial explosion. So there's lingering effects. But continuing, it says fusion reactions cannot experience a runaway chain reaction if the extreme heat or pressure is required to sustain. If the extreme heat or pressure required to sustain reaction drops, the device safely shuts down. Okay, you know, but here we go. Right here, it says fission produces highly radioactive byproducts that require secure long-time geological storage and remain hazardous for thousands of years. Radioactive fallout. And it says fusion does not produce long-lived radioactive nuclear waste. The primary byproduct of deuterium and tritium fusion is non-toxic helium alongside some irradiated reactor components. So there's a very big difference in a nuclear fission explosion and a nuclear fusion explosion. But let's continue. Let me get some more what this is. All right. Now this is talking about a nuclear fusion explosion is exponentially stronger than a nuclear fission explosion. This is per unit mass. Fusion reactions release significantly more energy than fission reactions. While fission is used in atomic bombs, fusion powers thermonuclear hydrogen bombs, which can be thousands of times more powerful. So there you go. Nuclear fusion is more powerful than nuclear fission. Nuclear fusion, though, does not leave the fallout, but fission does. But let's continue. And it says, again, nuclear fission. This process involves splitting a heavy unstable atom, such as uranium-235 or plutonium-239, into smaller atoms by bombarding them with neutrons. This reaction triggers a chain reaction that releases massive amounts of energy. Fission bombs, like the weapon used on Hiroshima, typically produce explosions in the kiloton range. And they still have some problems over there right now, still to this day, from the nuclear fission, that bomb going on. They still have certain things, and then people here years later that survived it, their generation, they've developed some things because nuclear fission, again, it leaves that fallout, that radioactive fallout. But let's continue. It says nuclear fusion. This process forces light atoms, usually hydrogen isotopes and like deuterium and tritium, together to form a heavier atom, releasing up to 4 million times more energy than burning fossil fuels. Because fusion requires extreme temperatures and pressures to overcome the repulsive forces of the atoms, it requires a fission explosion to act as a trigger. The resulting two-stage weapon produces explosions in the megaton range. So you already know what the Lord finna do, man. Nuclear, wow, just powerful. Real quick, one more. All right, this one more. And again, I put in nuclear fission versus fusion. It says nuclear fusion is far more powerful than nuclear fission. Per unit mass, again, it says fusion releases roughly 3 to 4 times more energy than fission. The difference lies in their atomic processes. The fusion smashes together light hydrogen isotopes to create heavier elements, while fission splits a single heavy unstable atom like uranium into smaller parts. It says the extreme power of fusion comes down to fuel efficiency, because fission fuels such as deuterium and tritium are so small. A single gram of fusion fuel contains significantly more atoms than a gram of heavy metals used in fission. Consequently, many more energy releasing reactions occur within the exact same mass of fuel. So like it says real world power. It says nuclear fission. This is the established technology currently used in commercial power plants. Yeah, that's why they make sure that, they don't try to have meltdowns. But this is generating massive amounts of carbon-free electricity. Blah, blah, okay. But nuclear fusion says this is the power source that fuels the sun and stars. So it's this nuclear fusion is way more powerful. It's basically a miniature sun. We'll say a man-made miniature sun. The Lord, as a matter of fact, real quick, this is Isaiah chapter 54, verse 16. It says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals, and the fire that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. So the Lord has created these scientists that came up with all this, that learned about fission and fusion, nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. So that and then they sat down and figured out how to split atoms and do all this to make these bombs. Or should I say make the weapons of the Lord's indignation. The Lord has did that. These scientists, these weaponsmiths, the Lord has made it where they've spent countless hours, we would say per se, in the proverbial forge, meaning they was building weapons, going through applications, designing everything for it, just so they can make these weapons of mass destruction, to judge this wicked, sinful kingdom from off the face of the earth, like the Lord said he was going to do in Amos. So the Lord has created this devil to do what he is doing. And we are seeing the process. And it says in one of the results, it was already like for the fusion, it needs a fission jump start. So you might as well say this is a nuclear fusion fission weapon. You know, I'm just talking. But anyway, but according to the scriptures, thermonuclear. The Lord gonna sweep this place with the beast of destruction like he said he was gonna do. But let's continue. Let me see real quick. Yeah, but anyways, let's get into it. So we already know with the fission and the fusion is exponentially more powerful. But it needs a fission a jump start to cause the explosion. Like the Lord is literally finna hit the earth with 200 million just small exploding suns. So much so but it's gonna be so powerful it's gonna shake the earth, and I'm gonna get that. But right now I need to go to Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 25. It says, the Lord Yahawah hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahawah, God of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. So the Lord has opened his armory. And what is in his armory? These ICBMs, these nuclear powered weapons. And he has brought this forth out of his armory. This is what the Lord is going to use to bring judgment to the earth. And you can bet your bottom dollar it ain't going to just bust up America. It's going to cause residual effects around the world. America going to get kablooey. It is what it is. Ain't no sugarcoating that. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for that. Ain't no more sugarcoating. So when it come down to it, the Lord is going to sweep this place with the beast of destruction. And these are his weapons of indignation, his righteous anger, his righteous wrath, because this place is wicked. This place is sinful. This place fights against the Heavenly Father. And anything or anyone standing for the Lord, this place fights against them too. But this is the work of the Lord hands in this place, in the land of the Chaldeans. This place, Babylon. So the Lord didn't open them up. He already got them out. That's why these nations have these weapons. Since I'm already here, might as well just keep on real quick. Up, it done fell out. Come here. Amos 9 and 8. It says here, behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahawah are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord Yahawah. So the Lord's eyes are upon this place. He's been watching this place for forever. The sins of this place have reached into the heavens. It has been a stench in the Heavenly Father's nose. So guess what? Now he says he's going to destroy it from off the face of the earth using these weapons of indignation. That is what the Lord is going to use to judge the earth with. He's not going to use lightning as we was talking about yesterday at camp. He's not going to use lightning as judgment on the earth. No, he's going to use this picture you see right here. Not this picture per se, but we'll say what this is, the weapon in this picture. And these other nations have them already ready, primed, and probably got the coordinates already locked in. That's what the Lord is going to use to judge this whore that sits upon the scarlet covered beast, which is Babylon, America, and it is what it is. Thus saith Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua, not thus saith man. But let's continue. This is Joel chapter 2, and I'm gonna just go. Just straight to the point. Because of how these weapons function. The scripture tells you how they function, and it tells you about the how they're gonna go up into the heavens and everything and come down. The Lord is telling you how his weapons is gonna function in the scriptures, but it is spoken parabolically. You have to have the spirit of Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua to understand it, to be able to bring it out, to break it down correctly, to be able to rightly divide the word of truth. But I'm going to just start at my point. Joel chapter 2 verse 3. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and a flame behind them burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. So a flame devoureth before them. That's that destructive power. Real quick, let's go to hold on. Then I go there. Well, that's that destructive power. And it says behind them a flame burning. That is fuel projection. They're going to be projected with what? By fuel, meaning they're going to use fuel to launch, to go to where it's supposed to go at. And it says the land is at the Garden of Eden before them. We all know that the Garden of Eden is a beautiful place. Well, and it says, and behind them a desolate wilderness, meaning these weapons are going to destroy Babylon. The Babylon is not going to look how it looks right now. We see what we see and walk on. It ain't going to look like that in the future. The Lord's going to turn this place into a desolate wilderness. And if you have not been serving him, you have not been with him, guess what? You're not going to escape. Ain't nobody escaping the judgment of the Lord. The only way you get around it is if you serve him in truth and sincerity and humbleness. Mind, body, and soul. Or spirit, whichever one you want to use. That's the only way you get around it. If you have not been doing that, guess what? It ain't happening. A lot of our people gonna find out that they ain't gonna get away. The Lord gonna hit them right in the face with one of these nuclear fusion weapons that will need a fission trigger to explode. And anything at the epicenter of these weapons, it's going to be immediately vaporized. At the epicenter, the initial explosion once it hit. But let's continue. Now, let's go here. Let's go to Revelation, chapter 9. Let's see, chapter 9. I'm going to just go to my point. Verse 19. It says, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and they had heads, and with them they do hurt. Again, that destructive power. It says their power is in their mouth, that destructive power, those warheads. And it says, and in their tails, again, that projection. Propel, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about projection. Propel. That's going to propel them into the skies, up into the atmosphere, into the heaven. The Lord says his sword shall be bathed in heaven. So it's going to go up into the atmosphere and come down. And again, the power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they did hurt. This was John the Baptist, like John the Revelator, speaking as clearly as he could in the times that he was in at the time, explaining what's going to happen in today's time with these weapons of indignation from Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua. Let's do it again. Let's go back. Joel chapter 3, Salakia chapter 2, verse 3. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. Revelation 9 and 19. For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and they had heads, and with them they do hurt. Warheads, destructive power. being propelled into the atmosphere, or i.e. the heavens, and coming down on Idumea, Basra, Chaldea, Babylon, Nineveh, America. And the Lord is gonna sweep this place. And with these hitting, because it's gonna be 200 million. As a matter of fact, I should have just read up from that point. I'll go back. Verse 16. It says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them 200,000 times 1,000 gives you 200 million. It says, and I saw the horses in the vision. He's talking about the missiles, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and jacinth. These weapons of indignation. They're metallic. They're made out of metal or metallic elements. And it says again, having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the head of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone, that destructive, destroying power. Nuclear fusion triggered by nuclear fission to explode. The Lord ain't playing, man. This is the weapon. This is the weapons of the Lord in the nation. This is his judgment. This is what he's going to use. He used water. He's using fire this time. So the Lord is not playing. But let's continue. Let's continue. Let me see something real quick. Come on now. But let's continue here. Let's go back to Joel chapter 2. And I'm going to read verse 3 once more. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them. Behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearances of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. I mean, it's going to be a lot of them coming over at this place. It's going to be like horsemen going to war, riding on horses. And it's going to be a lot of them. And it says, like the noise of chariots upon the top of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Meaning, how it's going to sound. It's going to be so many of them, it's going to make a sound. It ain't going to be 200 million nuclear missiles that's just quiet. And you don't hear nothing. No, it says like the noise of chariots on the top of mountains. That's very noisy. That's very loud. And again, they bring propelled. If you have ever seen any rockets that when they do like these nations when they do their show of military force and they do like dummy missiles, those missiles have a sound when they shoot out. They shoot out. They make a noise. And it sound like a raging fire burning. But again, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. And these missiles are going to be shot into the skies. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Meaning they're going to make sound. They're going to make noise. But let's continue. It says, before their face people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. So when the people see this, and they see these nuclear warheads hitting and exploding, that's why I said they're going to be what? People are going to be what? Much pained. Meaning people are going to be afraid, and people are going to finish with all they living. Especially people that's at the epicenter of the initial explosion. The initial explosion of a nuclear weapon. As a matter of fact, there we go. Nuclear explosion right here. It says the nuclear science, the epicenter is more accurately the hypocenter. It's the point on the ground directly below a nuclear explosion. For example, the hypocenter of the 1945 Hiroshima atomic bomb was above Shima Hospital, creating a zone of total obliteration where temperatures reached 4,000 degrees. Below is a breakdown. There you go. But it says, there you go, below is blah, blah, blah. You can see it. It says, the core temperature reaches over 100 million degrees Celsius, hotter than the sun, within milliseconds. A plasma fireball forms, completely obliterating all structure and vaporizing all matter. Survival is impossible. What did the Lord say? A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape. So anybody caught at the hypercenter, as it was saying, instant vaporization. Done. Let's continue. 1 to 4 miles. Blast pressure exceeding 5 psi flattens average homes, causing near total building collapse and severe, often fatal injuries from flying debris. 4 to 7.5 miles. Thermal radiation causes severe third-degree burns. 7.5 to 12 miles. Blast waves shatter windows, causing widespread injuries from flying glass. Pretty sure people's eardrums are going to blow out and everything. 15 miles plus, depending on the wind patterns, populations face lethal risks of radioactive fallout, while individuals much farther away can experience the flash blindness at night. So there you go. The Lord is not playing. These weapons are dangerous, and the Lord is going to use them because of the manifold wickedness on this earth. So again, verse 6, before their face, back at Joel chapter 2, before their face people, the people, shall be much pain. All faces shall gather blackness. It says, they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. So these missiles are going to come in an overwhelming force. They're going to run like mighty men run into a war. They're not going to break their ranks. They ain't going to be hitting each other. They ain't going to be exploding in the air and causing. They ain't going to be doing none of that. They're going to march everyone on this path, meaning whatever trajectory that has been programmed into that specific tool, weapon, it's going to hit its mark. It's going to fly on that path and that path only. And they're not going to break their ranks. It says, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in this path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. So these missiles, they ain't going to be bumping into each other. They ain't going to be flying and getting hit with EMPs and call it. It ain't finna be none of that. It's not going to happen. They're going to walk everyone on its path. And when they fall upon the sword, it shall not be wounded. Meaning they're going to destroy whatever they hit. It's going to destroy it. Get rid of it. Burn it up. Destroy it. It says, they shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. An overwhelming horde of... For those who like to play zombie games, you know about zombie hordes. They just will flood everywhere. They come in through the walls, through the window. Well, not the walls, but through the windows. They coming in at every angle that they can. That's what these missiles are gonna do. They're gonna come in at every angle. They're gonna flood this place like a thief going inside a house. Gonna just access granted, and ain't gonna be no putting it off. Verse 10. It says, the earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, and the sun and moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. So when these weapons hit, they're going to kick up massive amounts of dust, soil, and earth into the atmosphere. And it's going to cause the earth to quake real quick. Isaiah 24 verse 19. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Now, this is going to cause the earth to reel to and fro, shake out of its place, which is going to cause all kind of manner of problems, especially for island countries where they're surrounded by water. It's going to cause problems. It says it's going to make the earth shake, shake to and fro. It's going to quake. It's going to shake like a cottage. Or should I say be removed like a cottage, a small, we'll say shed or something like that. Let's say an earthquake or something hit it and it just collapses. Well, that's the destructive power that's gonna happen. That's what's gonna come with it. And it says the earth again is gonna reel to and fro like a drunken. I mean, it's gonna shake. It's gonna remove out of its place, and it's gonna cause all kind of problems. And again, back here, the earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble. That mushroom cloud. The heavens shall tremble, and the sun and the moon shall be dark. It's gonna cover the atmosphere. It's gonna cover up the sky, which is gonna cause a nuclear winter, which is gonna cause even more problems. So the Lord, this weapons that they got what is called added effect. You know what I'm saying? That's just it's a material. If you play Final Fantasy VII, you know what I'm saying, if you're a gamer, it's a material called added effect. Meaning whatever you pair that material with onto said weapon and or accessory or whatever skill is on that weapon, guess what? That get added, it's added effect. Meaning it get a boost, it get a bonus on top of what it's already doing. So guess what? When these missiles hit, it's gonna cause the earth to shake. That's gonna cause all kind of stuff. Earthquakes. Violently shaking like that, that's going to cause all kind of tsunamis, tidal waves. That's going to cause all kind of things. Buildings collapsing, everything. It's going to shake the whole earth. Everybody on the earth going to feel it, and everybody going to know it. And it's going to throw up so much dust and debris into the sky that it's going to literally cover the sun and the moon. You ain't going to be able to see it. It's going to throw up all kind of pollution and everything. And I'm pretty sure at night people still ain't gonna be able to see the stars. So, like, man, these weapons ain't no joke, man. This and Lord has chose the perfect weapon to show the world His indignation and how much that He is really sick of wickedness on this earth. So yeah, these weapons ain't nothing to play with, man. The Lord know what He was doing when He did what He did. And the only way you getting around it is if you serving Him. If you ain't serving Him, calling on His true name like you're supposed to, you're looking forward to His indignation. That's really what you're doing. So yeah. Shalom.